I'm Ann Bentley. I am the curator of art and artifacts here at the Massachusetts Historical Society. I'm also the secretary for Metal Collectors of America. And on behalf of both organizations, I want to thank you very much for coming and welcome to what promises to be a really, really packed day of wonderful information and news and sharing on the subject we all know and love, metals. So we have exhibits upstairs. They will be open all day until 6:30, so at any point in the day you are welcome to go up and enjoy the metals we've put on exhibit in the Red Room and our featured exhibition, Fashioning the New England Family. Neil Musanti has brought a box of our bronze Metal Collectors of America Hephaestus medals. Those are the ones, right? And you can see an image of them on the club's logo there. They are magnificent, and I encourage you to go ask him to see them because you'll fall in love with them. They are just gorgeous. So, since 1791, when merchant Joseph Burrell donated his personal Columbia and Washington medal to the Massachusetts Historical Society, we have collected coins and paper money, decorations, and this is my tokens slide. For the first 18 years, our members donated an eclectic assortment of coins ranging from ancient Greek and Roman issues to the New England and pine tree coinage of the 1650s. Records were minimal during the early years, so we will never know which 11 pieces of coin arrived in 1793 from Boston printer Thomas Fleet. In 1796, we received the first of several personal collections when Dr. Joshua Thomas gave us his collection of silver and copper coins, ancient and modern. That's all we know about that collection. Not until 1845 does the record provide recognizable descriptions linked to donors. That year also marks a shift in the pattern of donations. Between 1791 and 1809, only 7 medals were listed among innumerable coins, but from 1845 onwards, medals and badges predominate. In 1873, James Savage enlarged the collection considerably with his gift of about 2,000 coins, medals, etc., in gold, silver, copper, bronze, tin, and paper. The following year, we received our most spectacular numismatic treasure, George Washington's personal set of Comitia Americana Revolutionary War medals, struck in Paris under the direct supervision of Benjamin Franklin and Thomas Jefferson. These are on view in the case that Jefferson brought back from Paris. So, it worked. And we have 3 views for Stony Point, which to me, as someone who has no depth perception, are a miracle. They make me see depth, and they give me a really, really wonderful image of the difficulties that the American troops had in trying to capture that impregnable fortress. And that the 2 medalists were able to do this for someone who cannot see depth, just truly, it's thrilling to be able to see that. And since you won't see the backs, the reverses on display, I just wanted to throw those in so that you would have an appreciation of them. So occasionally we received a manuscript collection that included a medallic component, like the papers of noted penman Fielding Schofield, whose array of gold and silver medals attest to his manifold talents. Well, now, I am not at all connected, I'm so sorry, but the Massachusetts Charitable Mechanics Association has a wonderful collection that they have deposited with us, and so we do have perfectly beautiful examples of their work. The golden age of the Society's numismatic collecting began in 1905 with William Sumner Appleton's bequest of his magnificent collection of coins and medals relating to American colonial history and that of Massachusetts. This collection of 3,423 coins and medals and 987 pieces of paper money included such unique specimens as Manley's Gold Medal of Washington, just one of 17 drawers of Washington medals, a rare funeral medal, and Eccleston's medal in lead from an unbroken die are on view today. In 1908, the Society's cabinet keeper reported that Harvard College had accepted the Society's gift of about 1,000 ancient Roman coins, marking a first attempt to redefine the collection's parameters. In 1913, Malcolm Storer was named as curator of coins to administer the collection. By then, it was 3,900 specimens. He suggested a collecting policy to concentrate on pieces dealing directly with the numismatic history of Massachusetts. Henry Adams gave us the monumental collection of ancient and modern coins amassed by John Quincy Adams and Charles Francis Adams, 10,000 coins in all. Storer reported that he added half of these coins to the Society's collection and sold or exchanged the remainder, using the proceeds to purchase Massachusetts pieces. From 1913 until his death in 1935, Storer purchased 641 Massachusetts medals and tokens. His invaluable catalog, Numismatics of Massachusetts, originally published as MHS Collection 76 in 1923, was largely based on the Society's collection. We have medals in abundance from this period. Other gifts included a rare Indian peace medal of 1764, and it also included the medals of and awards of Charles T. Jackson of ether fame that we received in 1915. And they joined those of William T.G. Morton, who was also of ether fame, that were given by Morton's widow in 1870. Now, this is an interesting medal because it is glorious. The Institute, the National Institute of France, did not want to get into the ether controversy. So rather than pick one side, Jackson, or the other, Morton, they decreed in 1850 that the men were co-developers of the use of ether as an anesthetic and awarded them equally the Montyon Prize. The Montyon Prize consists of money and a medal, or just money and the value of the medal. So Jackson chose money. Morton chose the medal and the cash. And with the cash, he made a whacking great collar to go around the medal. This is over 1 pound of gold. Though, between 1935 and 1951, the Numismatic Collection had a succession of caretakers. Shepherd Pond served briefly as curator from 1942 until his untimely death in 1945, when our intense focus on collecting coins and medals ended. Acting curator Chauncey Cushing Nash reported in 1949 that certain duplicate coins had been sold, with the proceeds going to fill gaps in the Adams and Appleton collections. And I'm assuming these are mostly coins, since that's what he reported on. Arthur Stone Dewing, the Society's last curator of coins, was appointed in 1951. His planned revision of Storer's catalog never came to pass. With Dewing's retirement, interest in the collection gradually waned. No longer did the collection actively collect. Additions, mostly paper currency with an occasional medal, came from manuscript collections or the rare individual donor. Without a curator of coins or the staff to administer the collection, it was closed to researchers. This state of affairs lasted until 1965, when a series of thefts from local coin collections prompted the council to place the Society's coins and medals in a bank vault for safety. They were moved for safekeeping to the Museum of Fine Arts the following year. Thank you. In 1969, the council determined that the Society could not effectively store and administer coins. So beginning in 1970 through 1973, that part of the numismatic collection was deaccessioned in a series of auctions through Stack's Auction House. The Adams family assented to the deaccession of the JQA CFA coin collection still in our possession. And the funds realized were used to finance our annex for the storage of the library collections. The medals, tokens, and the few remaining American coins remained in cold storage at the MFA, where they might still be today if it weren't for the efforts of our good friend John Adams. In 1984, Adams approached Director Len Tucker for permission to consult certain of our medals at the MFA. Of course, after 30 years of our neglect, the collection was in dire need of cleaning and recasing. Adams persuaded the council to recall the Numismatic Collection and personally sponsored a student intern to remove the soot from the medals. They had been moved from a building heated by coal to cold storage. And we just forgot about them and left them in storage with the MFA, who were the wonderful folks who took care of them for us. We did not ask them to clean them. It was not their job. That was our province, and we just forgot about them. It was easier to just leave them in storage. So John brought in Len Finn, many of you may remember him, who came once a week and taught me everything I know about anything numismatic. And through friends like John and Dave Bowers and Tony Terranova, we have gradually started to resurrect the collection. It is open to research. It is open to exhibit. Since 1984, we have been actively working on it, and also more concentrating on medals than on the coin part of it, because coins are taken care of so beautifully at ANS and ANA. So we figured we would stick to what we do best, which is Massachusetts and American medals. The Fielding Schofield Papers that I mentioned is a wonderful set of freehand calligraphic work. And this man obviously was incredibly talented because he won just about every gold and silver medal you could win in the field during his active years. And they are magnificent. I just pulled a couple of them. And we ourselves, in 1964, John Kennedy was a member of the Massachusetts Historical Society, and after his death in 1963, the council voted to create the John F. Kennedy Award of the Massachusetts Historical Society. And that is a rare honor that we give out to persons who have contributed in service to history. And I'm trying to remember the last time we gave it out, but it is a rarity. 12 have not, I think we've given out 12 since 1964. So that is my little speech about our collection. I do want to say that it is a collection of medals in an organization like ours, which is primarily archives and library, is a huge investment on the part of the board. And since 1984, we are very, very lucky that our administration, our board members, and our presidents have understood and recognized the value of a collection such as this that is available to the public for research. This is why we exist. And it's a huge investment in time, which is money. And so I do want to take this opportunity to thank our administration and our board and our members and our friends who have helped us along the way to resurrect this collection. And hopefully for many, many years to come, it will be available to all of you and to future researchers as they get into the wonderful, wonderful field that is medals. So I thank you, and I don't know, we do have time for questions. So, yes, John.
So I know you put a display upstairs of some of these wonderful medals. Can you tell us a little bit about what's up there and how you decided to display what you did?
The question was, there is a relatively small display of medals upstairs. John wants to know what is up there and how did I decide? Well, there are the usual, the obvious. I have, with every possible permutation of medal and token and medalette you can think of, it's hard to figure it out. So what I did was simply try to take broad groups and then just find what I like about that group. So we start with a case that I've titled War and Peace, that obviously starts with the Comitia set that belonged to Washington and then Webster. And to that I added Lee's medal by Joseph Wright, because that did not happen in France. It was forgotten. It happened here in the United States, and we were not very accomplished at medals. So it's just a lead trial from a die that later broke. And I have added several Vernon medals, in token to John and his interest in those. There's a couple of Mexican War medals, because Charles Cushing Wright did them, and Neil is working on a book on Wright. There are several Indian peace medals there, including the 1764 Happy While United medal. And then we have some Civil War medals that mean a lot to me. We've actually got a Medal of Honor for the Army to Richard Welch, and we have Medal of Honor to a seaman named Horton. So it's the Naval Medal of Honor, and Horton was on the USS Rhode Island that saved survivors of the Monitor and Merrimack fight. And his cutter was captured by the Confederates, and he spent time in a prison camp. He was released, and he went right back into the Navy. And when he was demobilized in 1864, he had lost both of his arms in the course of the Civil War. So it's a tremendous honor for us to have these medals, and a privilege to be able to display those. I also did school medals, Boston school medals, and Harvard medals. Storer was a Harvard man, and he set about purchasing as many Harvard school medals as he could. So these are not the official important medals. These are the club medals, and they're a lot of fun. And I could have filled 5 cases of club medals, but I restrained myself. There is a sort of a mixed bag case, but it has very important things in it. There's a Happy While United. There's a Am I Not a Woman and a Sister token, and there is a series of portrait medals that are really quite beautiful. There is a Brenner medal of James McNeill Whistler. There is a Khalil Gibran, who wrote The Prophet, had a nephew and namesake who was an accomplished sculptor, and he created a portrait medal of his uncle. So there's a gilt portrait medal of him in there. There are a few really fun sports medals. Roller derby was a really, really great sport on roller skates for a while. It swept the nation until ice rinks came in and made it more efficient to play polo and hockey on ice skates rather than roller skates. So that's a glorious gay 90s effusion. That's a lot of fun, you'll see. Then there's the President's case, which is mostly Appleton, Washington pieces, some of the stellar ones. There is a Jefferson Presidential Medal and 2 cliches from the original Diplomatic Medal of the United States that Jefferson designed as our diplomatic medal. There's also John Adams's gold diplomatic medal from Holland, from the United Council, I forget what they're called, of Holland. That, as far as I am aware, that is the only 18th century diplomatic medal in existence. No one has published anything else about that. There's also a really wonderful Science Gives Peace medal for his son, John Quincy Adams. Our JFK medal is in there. And then the last case is awards and decorations, and that's just a wonderful hodgepodge of all kinds of things, and important commemorative dates like the 250th anniversary of Jewish settlement in America. That's a hard thing. You will probably need, if you have your flashlights on your phones, to use your LED lights to add to the illumination in the cases, because it is not optimum for metal viewing. But having said that, let me get my time here. We have 9 minutes before I introduce my next speaker, so if there are any other questions, some people, yes? Oh, I'm sorry, not the medical. This is the store, Numismatics of Massachusetts by Malcolm Storer. Although we do have a copy of his father's book on medical medals that Storer gave to us for our library. But we don't have tremendous number of medical medals as a subset of the collection. Mostly they're decorations for services rendered. So, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about any plans you might have to digitize the collection, put online photos and
Yes.
of
Well, we do have. There are certain pieces relating to the Revolutionary War that are online through our catalog, Abigail, our online catalog. And we don't systematically put everything online. That's time, that's money, that's staff that we simply do not have. But where possible, whenever possible, if you go into the collection catalog and you see a button, it'll say to see this item. That is the way that we do make those available. As I say, this is a subset of a massive archives. So our time and our funds mostly go to those. So that's a question for the ages.